Good evening. I'll call to order the SMUD Board of Directors meeting of March 19th, 2026. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Brandon. You read my mind there. Okay, this meeting of the SMUD Board of Directors is recorded with closed captioning. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel, on the Comcast and DirecTV U-verse cable systems. The recording will also be video streamed at fmetro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Sunday, March 22nd at 2 p.m. and Monday, March 23rd at 9 a.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/metrocable14. Please remember to unmute your microphone when speaking in order that our virtual attendees may hear. The microphone will display a green indicator light when the mic is on. Please put all electronic devices in the silent mode while in the auditorium. For members of the public attending in person who wish to speak at this meeting, please fill out a speaker's request form located on the table outside this room and hand it to SMUD Security. Members of the public attending this meeting virtually who wish to provide verbal comments during the board meeting may do so by using the raise hand feature in Zoom or pressing *9 while dialed into the telephone toll-free number at the time public comment is called. Technical support staff will enable the audio for you when your name is announced during the public comment period. You may also submit written comments by emailing them to publiccomment@smud.org. Written comments will not be read into the record, but will be provided to the board electronically and placed into the record of the meeting if received within 2 hours after the meeting ends. Members may speak to items on the agenda on which the board will take action and may also address the board on other agenda items and items not on the agenda but within our jurisdiction during the general comment period. The auditorium is equipped with a safety alarm. If the alarm sounds, please leave in an orderly manner via the exits to the lobby or behind the dais. Assemble in front of the building and wait to hear the all-clear announcement from security before re-entering. Would the Chief Legal Officer please conduct the roll call?
Director Rose.
Here.
Director Bowie Thompson.
Present.
Director Fishman.
Here.
Director Herber.
Here.
Vice President Kurth.
Here.
Director Sanborn.
Here.
President Tamayo.
Here.
All directors are present.
And now I'll ask Director Fishman to read our 2030 climate action tip.
Sure. SMUD is working towards 100% zero carbon by 2030, and there's a lot that the public can do to help us lead the global clean power city movement. As spring approaches, it's a great time to schedule maintenance on your HVAC system, including replacing filters and checking ducts for leaks. A well-maintained system runs more efficiently and uses less energy to heat or cool your home. Check out smud.org/rebates for rebates and special promotions on electrical appliance options. And you can join the charge and visit cleanpowercity.org.
Thank you. If there are no corrections, changes, or additions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, moved by Director Herber, seconded by Director Sanborn. Directors, please vote.
The agenda is approved with all directors voting yes.
All right. And now we'll move to our committee chair reports. Director Herber, Chair of the Policy Committee, will give the report of the March 11th, 2026 meeting.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Policy Committee met on Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. There were two informational items. The first informational item was to discuss the process and principles for renewable energy development. Topics included how SMUD procures renewable energy 3 ways. Number 1, developing projects through construction contracts. Number 2, jointly developing projects. And number 3, purchasing the power through power purchase agreements, or PPAs. And lastly, executing PPAs through third-party proposals. SMUD has a long history of environmental leadership through Strategic Directive 7. We have a robust review process of proposed projects to identify potential environmental impacts. SMUD's principles for renewable energy development include developing carbon-free renewable energy in a manner that supports the community, protects the environment, and respects human rights. These principles provide guidance for the siting, design, construction, and operation of SMUD's clean energy projects. The 6 principles cover land use, design and construction, sustainable life cycle management, sustainable regional workforce, and sustainable materials and equipment. President Tamayo created an ad hoc committee consisting of President Tamayo, Director Sanborn, and Director Herber as the chair of the committee to review potential changes to Strategic Direction Number 7 that would reflect the principles for renewable energy development as they may be modified in response to the discussion. The second informational item was a review of the board work plan. This concludes my report.
Thank you. And now Director Rose, Chair of the Finance and Audit Committee, will give the report of the March 17th, 2026 meeting.
All right, thank you, President Tamayo. So the Finance and Audit Committee met. We had 4 informational items and 1 discussion item. The first informational item was report on SMUD's 2025 independent audit. The auditor found that there were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in controls, which is excellent. The second informational item was on SMUD's 2025 financial results. SMUD had a net positive year. We had lower commodity expenditures and lower operating expenditures than expected. The third item was a report on SMUD's financial results for the month of January 2026 and a summary of SMUD's current power supply costs. The fourth informational item was internal audit on grants, administrations, and GO 165 transmission line maintenance. And the discussion item was a request to extend SMUD's contract with the TRC engineers to help administer the Complete Energy Solutions program, which helps businesses become more energy efficient and reduce their energy bills. This item is number 4 on the consent calendar. That concludes the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Rose. And now Director Bowie Thompson, Chair of the Energy Resources and Customer Services Committee, will give the report of the March 17th, 2026 meeting.
Thank you. We had 1 discussion item from that meeting. The discussion item was the approval of the Memorandum of Understanding between SMUD and IBUW Local 1245 for the period beginning January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2028. This is item number 6 on the board's consent calendar. That concludes my report.
Thank you. At this time, we will take comments from the public on the consent calendar. I don't have any cards. Do we have any requests to speak?
No, we do not.
Okay. All right. So the consent calendar consists of the following items. Number 3 is to approve board member compensation for service rendered at the request of the board for the period of February 16th, 2026 through March 15th, 2026. Number 4 is the approval of the minutes of the meeting of February 19th, 2026. Item number 5 was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee of March 17th, 2026, and that pertains to a contract with TRC Engineers. Item number 6 was reviewed at the ERCS meeting of March 17th, 2026, and which pertains to the MOU between SMUD and IBEW. If there are no corrections or changes or additions, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Did somebody second?
Second.
Director Kurth moved the item and seconded by Director Fishman. I think you wanted to
Yeah,
comment,
I did.
Director Fishman?
I don't know if anybody else on the dais does. I just wanted to acknowledge, we're approving a contract for IBEW, and this was, this sounds like it's on the consent calendar. It's just a pro forma kind of thing. It's absolutely not. It's one of the most important things that we do as a board, to approve these kinds of agreements, and one of the most important things that our staff does to work to reach out and to work with our represented employees and make sure that there's some kind of agreement. And the work that all SMUD employees does is incredibly important. Certainly the IBEW folks, and we have some in the room tonight, these are the people that literally keep the lights on. They're working in storm conditions, they're working in heat wave conditions. I think that this contract reflects the respect that we have for you and the work you do and the dedication that you show to this community through the work that you do. So I just wanted to acknowledge that while this is on the consent calendar, it's a big deal and it's important, and we appreciate the work you do.
Director Kurth, did you?
No.
Okay. Any other comments?
I just want to second that. Really appreciate all the work of our employees across the organization, but this is a very big deal, and rightfully just mention it, and thank you all for your work.
Dave?
I'm glad we have an agreement.
Director Herbert.
Yeah, well, I'll third it, and just say that we are very glad that we have an agreement. We love our linemen and respect you, and I'm glad that folks were able to work together to come up with a fair agreement.
Director Rose.
I'll just echo a little bit. Just wanted to thank the IBEW reps and the staff for all the time. It went on, I think, longer than anyone expected, and I want to take that moment to thank you for your time and effort. I also want to thank the SMUD staff and their negotiating team. A lot of hours got put into these efforts, and I think it's a good balance between protecting the ratepayers in Sacramento, but also respecting the employees and our staff. And I'll say, as a state worker and rank and file state worker in my day job, the state is always teetering on the balance of balancing its budget on the staff, and SMUD doesn't operate that way, which I think is a great thing. I would never want to echo. And I think this contract reflects that the respect, both for the management and the employees, and also respecting the people of Sacramento County that ultimately own the organization. So thank you, everybody.
Well, I, of course, would like the opportunity to speak now. I just didn't want to try and follow the eloquence of Director Fishman there, because he always sounds so great, and I always sound so, anyway.
So I should Director Rose be slighted then?
He'll speak to me later, I'm sure.
Okay.
So I just want to thank everyone involved in this. I know sometimes these things can get very excited because a lot is at stake. And it's not just the money, but it's also the respect and the presence in the community and feeling like you matter in ways that and are appreciated. And so let me just say to all the staff, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers that do so much good for us all the time, and to the management staff that managed to get together with everybody to work something out. I know it's not hard, I know it's not easy, and that it's hard to forget afterwards. That's where I was going. Some of the hurt feelings along the way, but let's just understand that's part of the process and move on to a better time now and get back to work back to the way things used to be, I guess would be the way I'd say it. So thanks, and glad you're all here tonight for this.
Well, I'll just say thanks to the teams on both sides that went through actually kind of a long process, but eventually got to an agreement that your IBEW membership approved of. And I do want to express my thanks to not only the line workers, but all of the other IBEW staff, and I won't try to name them all. I know there's a lot of different classifications, but there's a whole lot of folks out there that are instrumental in making this whole system work, doing the hands-on work. So couldn't do it without you, and I'm glad that we're able to reach this agreement. So that being said, I guess we're ready to vote. So unless Director Bowie Thompson, did you? Okay. All right. Directors, please vote.
The consent calendar is approved with all directors voting yes. Congratulations.
All right. So we will move on to our next item. At this time, we will allow the public to comment on items not on the agenda, but within our jurisdiction. Do we have any requests?
No, we do not.
All right. So at this point, we provide the directors an opportunity to report on SMUD activity. We will begin with a report from Director Rose in Ward 1 and continue in ward order with the President's report as the final item. Director Rose.
Right, thank you, President Tamayo. Just a couple of interesting, I think, highlights. I'll start with a couple of chamber events. I was out at the Folsom Chamber of Commerce and their legislative reception representing SMUD there. And I also was out at the Citrus Heights Chamber of Commerce at their Community Awards celebration as well. So it's just good to be out in the district and engaging with our local small business community as well. And we have really excellent reps. It was good. One of the highlights of going to these events is getting to spend the time with our staff and really hearing about the individual projects that they've been working on all over the region. I'll also highlight the ribbon cutting. I was out in Orangevale. It's the Beach Hill Affordable Apartments. And this is just a few minutes where I live. And it's been basically an empty hole in the ground my whole life. But in the last few years, they've used some of these different environmental exemptions, and they've been able to leverage some of this housing money that the state's made available. And SMUD was able to come in and engage them to make this zero carbon development as well. And so it's one of the new sort of early affordable housing developments in the Orangevale area. So it's really fantastic. It's great to see. So I was out at that, and then also got out, so I know several of the other board members did as well, got out to the Clean Start meetup, and the focus was on batteries and like virtual power plants, and just a really excellent evening with some of the local entrepreneurs who are very active in the battery space, including like LICAP and Cora Power as well. And so it was really great to see that, and great to see SMUDs in our engagement in helping promote these businesses as they grow. And I think the last thing I will mention is just the getting out to the Civic Well Policymakers Conference. I know several of you will discuss that as well, but I had some really interesting conversations with some city council members and supervisors from different parts of the state about energy and their community choice aggregation work, and just brainstorming some generation and just different ideas. I think already sort of bringing back to SMUD, I think will really help us in the long run. It's a really valuable conference. Okay, and that will be all for me tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next is Director Bowie Thompson.
Thank you. I had the pleasure of attending many events, but I won't go through all of them. One that I've been doing for, I believe, over a decade now is the Sacramento Business Journal's Mentoring Monday event, where women from various parts and careers seek advice on to how to progress, how to negotiate a pay increase, how to change positions. And I always find this one of the most rewarding events that we get invited. And thank you for SMUD for sponsoring yet another event. I also attended the Sacramento Speaker Series, where author Anthony Ray Hinton spoke about his over 30 years in incarceration with little to no evidence, and to hear how he's yet to be compensated from the state of Alabama for this incarceration, this wrongful incarceration. It just reminds us, we try to do the right thing in our lives, and sometimes things don't work out, but this gentleman changed that around and really has tried to forgive and move on. I don't know if I would be that gracious to the state of Alabama, but he's spending his life now talking about forgiveness and talking about moving on and mentoring people. I have many of my family who have spent time wrongfully incarcerated in our prison system, and we still have a lot to go. And so when we look at our customers who are hurting, look at our customers for various reasons, it just reminds us that life is precious and your freedom is precious, and that we need to every day, live the best life that we can and help others, even when dealt a really hard hand. So it was just a reminder to all of us. I also had the honor of presenting an award at the Rainbow Chamber of Commerce to their Nonprofit of the Year. And then I also was there with Paul Lau, who accepted the Corporate Citizenship Award on behalf of SMUD. We've been a longtime partner with the Rainbow Chamber, so we're very honored to receive these awards. Thank you.
All right. Next is Director Fishman, Ward 3.
Thank you. Got a few things to talk about. Was able to say a few words to a group of folks, partnership between SMUD and the Sacramento County Office of Economic Development at the Fulton Avenue Business Walk. So they were getting together to really do outreach to the businesses along that Fulton Avenue corridor. What can SMUD do to help them? What can the county office do to help them be more successful in small businesses? Paul is racking up the awards and the recognition, and so it was a pleasure to be at the Sacramento Business Journal Most Admired CEO Award, where Paul was recognized for his service to the community, and also my boss at my day job, Henry Lee, was also awarded as being recognized as being one of the most admired CEOs. I got to spend a little bit of time at Cameron Ranch Elementary School for Read Across America Day, and a memorable experience because they gave me a book to read about a dog with bad breath, and the children seemed to really love that one. The dog's name was Halitosis. I did attend the Civic Well Policymakers Conference in Yosemite, and as Director Rose mentioned, this is an incredibly valuable conference. I will tell you, there's lots of SMUD envy in the room as people kind of understand what SMUD is doing in our community, and they wish they had something like us, I guess. And then finally, I don't know if I'm going to be able to convey this as well as I wish, but I got to present a couple of awards at the Regional Kid Wind competition. So this is a competition for middle schoolers where they all start with the same kind of kit for a wind turbine, and they get to design the gearing and the gear ratios and the blade size and shape and all this stuff, and then they actually test them in a wind turbine, in a wind tunnel to see which ones actually produce the most electricity. So there's teams from all over the Sacramento region. A team from Sacramento Country Day School was one of the winners, so that's kind of cool. They're in my ward. The other winning team that was recognized, I'm sorry, I don't remember what school they were from, and I will find out. But it was two young girls. Their mothers were there to support them. Their mothers were wearing hijabs, and they were clearly from an immigrant community. And they were so proud of their daughters that it makes me cry. It really does. And that's what this country is about, bringing people from diverse backgrounds into this country to learn things, to know things, to experience freedom in a way that they might not have been able to in whatever home country they're from. I need to find out more about where they're from. I wasn't able to stay and talk to them, and I'm really sorry about that. But these two young girls are going on to a national competition in Minnesota, And I'm just really, really proud that SMUD gets a role in doing that.
Thank you, Director Fishman. Director Herber.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's always hard to go after Director Fishman, but especially when he's crying. So I do want to say it was a very, very, very busy month. Started off celebrating Black History at the Roberts Family Development Center. Young woman, Alika Bernard, is doing a choir out there. And so she brought these young people out to sing about freedom, and it was just really wonderful. So wonderful shout out to the Roberts Family Development Center. Then I also was able to have a night of art. It turns out our Building Leadership Talent group put on a fundraiser, and one of our employees taught us how to paint fish. And I never thought that I would enjoy something like that. I just wanted to help the BLT folks, but it really was calming and restful. So I think I'll be doing a little bit more art in the future. One of my favorite things, though, is speaking in the community, and I was able to speak at the Women and Girls Commission celebrating women and girls for the Women's Day. The Seroptimists, of which I'm a member, they helped put on the event, and there were a lot of women that were there learning about other groups that can help them, learning about ways to become entrepreneurs, learning about health issues, learning about opportunities for jobs in the community. It was really a great event, and so I want to thank the Women and Girls Commission for putting that on. I also want to mention that the National Association of Women Business Owners, or NABO, held the 30th Annual OWL Awards. And two of my good buddies were nominated, Kim Tucker and Dr. Janice Thompson. While neither of them won, it gave us all an opportunity to thank them for all that they do in the community. And then last but not least, I had lunch with Mario Black and Brittany Davis of Rise Women of Business. This is a new group that started up in Elk Grove by these two women, and they work with women entrepreneurs to help them grow their businesses and to bring in different speakers that will be helpful for their businesses. And they have over 60 members and growing, so that's a group that I'm hoping that SMUD can connect up with and fold it into our economic development stuff. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Director Herber. Next is Director Kurth.
Thank you. It was a very busy month. The first one I want to start off with is Street Soccer USA had their annual event, on the 19th in the morning. And if you're not familiar with street soccer, their mission is to fight poverty and strengthen communities through soccer. And so they run soccer clinics, soccer teams, soccer competitions, mostly along Broadway, just outside my ward, I'm sorry to report. But really all over the country. And so they had their annual event, and it's just so heartwarming to hear about the people whose lives have been bootstrapped to a much better place by learning to play soccer with their friends. Next up, I was at the American Public Power Association legislative rally in Washington, D.C. It continues to be a very strange place to visit just now. But there's, as SMUD's one of, over 5,000 municipal utilities in the country. And this is the one chance for everyone to get together and plot strategy for the next year and to figure out best practices. And so it's always a big eye-opener and learn an awful lot while I'm there from people. And we're able to really share with others some of the great ideas that we've had and are working on here. I too stopped by the Kid Win, but Greg and I missed each other. It was fascinating to me. I'm an engineer, and so to see the kids building the blades, they had pretty much this little windmill. They had this great air turbines, wind tunnel set up to test them with, and they had all the graphs and all that, but they had to make the blades themselves. And so they were everything from hot melt glue with cardboard to 3D printed blades like you'd expect to see over in Solano County. And so off they went to the competition. They had the most fun there with what they were doing. And I, of course, handed out job applications to all of them so that maybe we can get a few of them to show up here someday. And last one, I too attended the Civic Well Policymakers Conference, and I guess just to add to what Director Rose said about it, energy and the cost of energy and the difficulty of working with utilities is on every county supervisor and every city council member's mind. They talk about it regularly. This is a conference mostly of elected officials, in fact, almost exclusively. And at every table we were at, that's what they wanted to talk about, because they know what a big gouge it is to their constituents' pockets, of course, paying some of these outrageous power bills. But it's also an entire system that they don't like, of feeling ignored and belittled and somehow lost in the shuffle of large organizations. And so, the SMUD envy was palpable. I had to tell them all that we can't annex them. We're sorry. But there's so many good lessons to pass on there, too. And with that, there was almost 25 days of SMUD events in the last month, so let me stop there.
All right, and next is Director Sanborn in Ward 7.
Thank you, President Tamayo. Wanted to start by again congratulating our CEO, Paul Lau, for his being most admired CEO. We're just so honored to celebrate you, and was thrilled to be there to celebrate with you and your family and all the SMUD team. We had a couple tables. And I was excited to find out there's a company called Green Tech Renewables that's in the McClellan Business Park that I had not heard about before. It's in my ward. So I was thrilled to go get a tour, invited Director Tamayo, and he joined me. And it was really impressive. It's quite a large business. And what they do is take in solar equipment that is used for installs of residential solar. And they get it in bulk, and then they go ahead, and batteries and so forth, and they repackage it, and the customers can literally call in or type in through the computer, I need this and that for my install tomorrow, and then it's literally all boxed up and ready for them, and they just come, swing by, drive through, put it in their van, they're off. And we were really impressed that Tesla has redesigned their packaging for their Tesla Powerwalls to be reusable. And when you see a warehouse that's full of these battery walls and these giant plastic packages, to see that they've actually changed the packaging to be completely reusable and how much waste that saves that business was really interesting. And the contractors are bringing them back, and they're stacked up and sent back to Tesla. That was neat. But the business is doing really well. And it was just really interesting. They've also got new breakers that the breaker itself will switch. You don't need a whole new panel. You can just install a breaker. And if you want to make sure that your car, when you charge it, is always prioritized over your stove, then that one breaker can do that. That's a much cheaper solution than a whole new panel. So that's exciting for the customers. So if anybody out there is installing residential solar, you might want to look at Green Tech Renewables out there in my Ward 7. And thanks to Trevor Hammett for the tour. I attended the National Association of Women Business Owners 30th Annual OWL Awards, and it's always wonderful to celebrate women business owners and their successes. There were so many to mention. I can't mention them all, but want to shout out to Allison Otto of Auto Construction. We've worked with them, and she won an award, the Wise Woman Award, and then Kimberly Coley also from the Habitat for Humanity group that we work a lot with. She was nominated. And then on the Civic Well Policymakers Conference, I'm literally the first utility rep to be seated on their board, and it's a real honor to serve on their board. We had our board meeting there, and we have an annual conference on climate and energy. This year it'll be in Universal City, June 24th and 25th, if anybody is interested. But people from all over the state come and talk about all the issues around energy, and as other board members have said, energy is top of mind. The cost of energy, affordability, reliability is top of mind for almost every elected official I talk to in local government. It was pretty much the topic at the conference, that and data centers. And we talked to several other local governments that are dealing with data centers requests and how they prioritize them and how they manage them and make sure that their customers are not subsidizing data centers and can get the best deal for the community. So that was interesting, and I think we all brought back a lot of good information from that conference. So happy to serve on that board. And with that, I will turn it back over to you.
All right, thank you. I also attended the tour of Green Tech, and I just wanted to add a real quick thing. I mean, it's great that they have this one-stop shop for folks that are installing batteries and solar. That in itself is a great asset to have for the community and folks that want to increase the amount of rooftop solar. But also, they provide classes to their clients to help them understand, regulations, installation methods, different types of hardware. But also, they talk about our rebate programs, things like that. So they're actually potentially a very good partner for us to get our information out. I attended a Tahoe Park tree planting, and I wanted to give a shout out to I think about 10 SMUD employees who came and volunteered at the event. There were a number of folks from vegetation management, and they actually lent their technical expertise to other teams that were kind of wondering, okay, are we doing this right? So that was very helpful. Also, folks from the our environmental group, and our illustrious Betty Lowe, who seems to be everywhere in the community. So it was great to see a lot of SMUD folks there, but also there was a really big overall community turnout. Many people from Tahoe Park. Overall, there were about 100 people there. So we got 20 trees in the ground pretty darn quickly. So. I attended also the NABO event in NABO, National Association of Women Business Owners. And not only do they support women here, but they've who are give a lot of moral support and training support and really mentoring and helping people figure out how to grow their businesses. But they also advocate at state and federal levels to remove barriers. Over the years, they've been around for 51 years now, and they've been instrumental in removing some of the barriers that I was actually kind of shocked to learn that did exist 50 years ago that prevented women from fully participating independently in the economy. So I think a lot of folks owe them, and of course there's other people who advocated for that sort of thing, but they're one of the leaders in that. I was very pleased to speak at the Apprentice to Journey Workers Celebration. I guess that was just last week, and that's just a really joyous thing. I know that the IBEW apprentices work really hard for 4 years. They, it's not a trivial thing to get through all the things that you need to learn. And I know that a lot of the folks that were there had already completed their apprenticeships and have been working as journey workers for a number of months. But it was great to actually celebrate that and recognize their accomplishment, and also have their families have a chance to celebrate with them and with all of us. So the Stockton Boulevard Partnership had an annual business breakfast where they present a number of awards to various businesses that are doing good things along the corridor, and also just talk about some of the things that the partnership has been doing. And we've been a long time supporter of their activities down there. I forgot to mention that one of our friends, President Lisa Cardozo of American River College, was also honored as with the Impact Award by as an Outstanding Woman Leader by NABO. So congratulations to President Cardoza. She's done some great work, and we have a very strong partnership with American River College. So in a number of different fields of getting people ready for rewarding careers. And finally, I just wanted to mention this Civic Well Policymakers Conference. Huge amount of interest in municipal power. Lots of questions. How do we get there? I got the opportunity to talk for about 15 or 20 minutes about some of the things that we do in the community, and got a lot of positive comments about the things that we're able to do, and one of our colleagues attendees at the meeting said, you guys do all this stuff. How do you keep your rates so low? How do you do all that stuff? And I just think, well, we've got a great team that really works to do things efficiently, do things smartly, all the way from our finance folks, but all the different types of operations that we have, and people in all aspects of our organization, and work really hard to make sure that we do things efficiently and in a way that saves us and our community money, and still allows us to do a lot of good things to support the community. So I will. Also, I got invited to there was a lot of CCA folks there, Community Choice Aggregators, and so I did get invited to their conference that's coming up, I think in May. And so I'll have a chance to speak to them there. So there's actually I had a lot of opportunities to talk to folks about things that they're doing in their communities, and another thing called RENs, Renewable Energy, Regional Energy Networks, which doesn't apply in SMUD territory, but it's a source of funding for supporting like energy efficiency and workforce development. And since we work on the regional basis, it just strikes me that there's some things that we may be able to partner with some surrounding jurisdictions in supporting regional economic development and workforce development. So anyway, that's it for my report, and I'll hand it over to Paul Lau for his report.
Well, thank you so much, President Tamayo. So first, I'd like to start tonight's report by recognizing March as Women's History Month. SMUD's Women's Employee Resource Group is helping our employees celebrate Women's History Month by continuing to provide leadership training, connection opportunities, and resources to support professional development for all employees. Now, last week, we were excited to have an all-female SMUD Cares volunteer team participate once again in Habitat for Humanity Women's Build Day. So that's something that we're very, very proud of, that we have a great partnership with Habitat for Humanity, and then we actually have some of our female, employees out there, swinging a hammer, swinging nails, and actually do the construction. Last week, we also celebrated apprentices who completed their apprenticeship and passed the journeyman exam in 2025. As President Tamayo said, that is a huge milestone for those employees, because and thank you, President Tamayo, for being there to celebrate that celebration. Now, we actually had 14 apprenticeship programs at SMUD. Now, at the celebration, we had hydro, high-voltage electrician line workers, network cable splicers, and meter tech were all represented. The skills they gain and the role they play in keeping the lights on for hundreds of thousands of people in our community is critical. Now, as you know, SMUD has been training some of the best and safest utility workers in the country for over 50 years. Now, their 4-year apprenticeship was marked by a tremendous amount of hard work, dedication, and sacrifice, and we're looking forward to all they'll accomplish in the year ahead at SMUD. And again, it was great to see them, all the apprentices, along with their family, they're celebrating their huge accomplishment. That was really heartwarming. Now, earlier today, we held our Shine Award celebration to honor our community partners doing important work to make Sacramento a better place to live and work. Now, over the years, we've supported 196 community partners through our Shine Award program, resulting in investing more than $3.9 million back into the Sacramento region through our local nonprofits. Now, for 2025 to 2026 Shine Award cycle, we awarded about $532,000 to the 26 amazing nonprofit organizations that we honor today. Now, thank you to the board for joining us in celebrating this latest group of Shine honorees, and thank you for all those who are making this work possible. Now, I'm also very excited to share that we recently increased the rebate level for residential heat pump installation. Now, this enhanced rebate are designed to help customers transition to clean, efficient electric heating and cooling technologies while offsetting the recent expiration of federal tax credit and state incentive programs. This includes up to $4,000 for gas to electric heat pump water heaters conversions and up to $3,000 for gas to electric heat pump HVAC system conversion. Now, this larger rebate support our commitment to making clean energy affordable and accessible. Now, I'm also excited to share some good news about the many awards we received this past month. First, IDC Smart Cities honor our Connected Clean Power Meter Data Transformation Program with a Smart City Award in the Public Health category. Our employee communication team was recognized by Reagan Communications with an award for our daily updates, which are the regular emails that goes to our staff. Also, the Arbor Day Foundation once again made SMUD an official Treeline USA designated partner in honor of our vegetation management and shade tree programs. And lastly, I was honored to receive 3 amazing recognition this past month: the STEM Award from the Museum of Science and Curiosity, a Corporate Advocate Award from the Rainbow Chamber of Commerce, and a Distinguished Career Award, from the Sacramento Business Journal. I'm humbled by all this and very appreciative of the board's ongoing support and leadership, and our staff who deliver so much every day to our customers and our community. And now for tonight's videos about our expert energy specialists. Our energy specialists are key in connecting our customers with access to programs and services to lower their energy bills and electrify their homes. Now, this team conducted more than 1,500 on-site energy assessments for renters and homeowners annually, providing personalized recommendations for home heating and cooling, water heating, electric vehicles, solar panels, battery storage, and more. Now let's take a look.
At SMUD, we believe everyone deserves a comfortable, energy-efficient home. That's why our energy specialists are out in neighborhoods and homes every day to help you save money and energy. With tips, weatherization support, and recommendations for your HVAC, water heater, and even electric vehicle, we've got solutions for everyone. And our rebates and special promotions help customers replace inefficient gas appliances with electric alternatives, creating healthier indoor air. You can find us in local neighborhoods, at events, workshops, and classes throughout our region, sharing information about these valuable programs. For homeowners and renters alike, we complete more than 1,000 energy assessments each year. Learn more about how you can save at smud.org/energy saver bundles.
And this concludes my report. Back to you, President Tamayo.
Thank you. I would want to point out that one of our customers who appeared in that video, Norma, I remember being there when I was on a neighborhood walk, and remember how excited she was to learn about our programs, and Jose returned later to help her out, but we talked to her for quite a while in Spanish, and it was great to see how much she appreciated that we had all these different things that could help her out and improve her home. Do we have any summary of board direction?
No, we do not.
Okay. So having completed the agenda and seeing no further business, this meeting is adjourned. Yay. Wow. 7 o'clock.
There we go.